Very good evening, everyone. In this video lecture, I will try to explain how to draft a review paper on a specific topic. I will cover three important contents related to this review paper. To begin with, I will try to explain the purpose of a review paper. Then I will explain the steps involved in writing a review paper or how to write a review paper. And then I will end up with some case studies so that it will be useful for the students to understand the review paper in a better manner. So why literature review? So as you are, everyone will be aware that in order to start a project work or research work on a specific topic, what basically we do is that we will look for articles on a specific topic in journals. We go through all the articles and we'll try to collect the information. From that information, we will try to identify the problem in that particular area, and based upon our knowledge or understanding, we will try to suggest some approaches to overcome that problem. So, what basically we are doing is that we are referring n number of journals before starting a project work. So, what does this? How does this review paper will help the student or researcher in a better way to start the research work is that it will help us to reduce the time consumption, because whatever details we are trying to learn or understand from n number of journals, it will be available as in a single paper. That is the advantage with respect to a review paper. So an author might have done comprehensive review of all the articles related to a specific topic, and he might have put all those things in an organized manner in a paper. So instead of referring hundreds of papers, we can just go through the single paper in a deep manner. That will be sufficient for us to understand the problems associated in the topic, and we'll also develop some capabilities to address those problems by trying some novel approaches. This is the purpose of review paper. So to tell you in a short manner, it basically reduces the time consumption for identifying the problem, and the time involved in identifying the novel approaches for the given problems. That is the purpose of review paper. Okay. So, what are the steps that you have to follow in order to draft a review paper? All these things are given based on my experience. It is not a standard procedure that this is the way how to approach a review paper. So, I'm just sharing my own experience. From that experience, you can try to understand the concepts and you can try to build your own review paper. Okay. So, all the explanation related to writing review paper I will try to give from manufacturing aspects, as my area of interest is manufacturing. So with the information shared in this video, you can try to correlate to the area on which you are working. Okay. So what we have to basically first do is that we have to identify the various domains that is available in a particular topic. For example, in manufacturing industry, we have a lot of sectors starting from aerospace, automobile, like all those domains are available. First, fix a domain on which you're going to work. Okay. Then, first you have to identify what are all the domains available. Then from that, you have to identify the domain which is of interest to you. Okay, that is the second step. Then we have to collect recently published literatures. That is very important. You should not go for the old literatures that won't help you in identifying the correct problem. So it is recommended to collect literatures which are published recently in the area of your interest. Okay, then we have to narrow down the area of your research by selecting a particular material and particular process. Okay, then we have to collect at least 100 literatures. I have just put 100 in a random manner. It is not fixed that you have to collect only 100 papers. It is recommended to collect as many literatures as possible, related to the processing of the particular material which you have selected before. Okay, then based on the information you are collecting from all those papers, we have to draft a review paper. In order to draft the review paper, first you have to define the headings for your review paper. If you are able to define the headings for your review paper, then it will be easy for you to fit all those information which you have collected from the literatures which you have gone through. Then it will be easy for you to write. Okay, so then after fixing these headings, we can just fit in those information to that particular heading, and we can organize it in a sequential manner so that it will be interesting for the readers to read and understand. Okay, that is we have to keep in mind. Then it is suggested to use graphical representation tables in order to make a comparison which will help the readers to understand the technical content in a better way. Okay, so these are all some basic steps that you have to follow before trying to start a review paper. Okay, so from my personal experience, what I did, I will just try to correlate the whatever I have discussed till now to my personal experience. Okay, so in manufacturing industries, I found that these are all some of the manufacturing sectors. Okay, aerospace, power sectors, automobile industries, railways, robotics, biomedical industries, and fashion industries. Among all these industries, I decided to work on these biomedical industries. Okay, so with respect to biomedical industries, I collected some literatures and I have identified some of the materials that are being widely used in biomedical industries, and I have listed it down in this PPT also, and I have noted down when I started to write the review paper. Okay, so like this, I have listed out a number of materials that are being used in biomedical industries, and that I found that this nickel titanium shape embryolase is a recently developed one, and it has lot of scopes in biomedical industries. So I thought of working on this material called nickel titanium shape embryolase. Okay, other materials I have neglected. Now my focus will be on only this nickel titanium shape embryolase. Next, what I understood through literature is that in order to convert any material into required shape, manufacturing is must, and I found through literature that almost all the manufacturing process, starting from machining, forming, casting, additive manufacturing, welding, are being done on that particular material in the process of converting them into required shape. Okay, so again, in order to narrow down my research area, what I did is that I have restricted my focus to a specific process called welding. Okay, so now I have restricted my area of research to one particular material and one particular process, that is welding of nickel titanium process. Then what I understood that after going through furthermore literatures, I found that this that is the nickel titanium shape membrane can be welded by a number of welding process like laser welding, friction welding, flash mark welding, TIG welding. In that also, I have restricted my research area to this laser welding alone. Okay. So next, what I did is that I have collected papers related to laser welding of nickel titanium shape membrane alloys. I have collected around hundreds of literatures specific to laser welding of nickel titanium shape membrane alloys. In some cases, you may not get hundreds of papers and specific to that laser welding. In that cases, you can include the general material aspects as well as welding aspects. Okay, so if papers are available, you can collect as much as possible. If not available, you can include the general aspects of the material as well as the general aspects of the welding also in your review paper. Okay, so next, after collecting all these papers, I have gone through all these papers individually, and I have noted down the important key points from each literature, and I have drafted it in my document. And this process took around 4 to 5 months to, that is to finish all the 100 papers related to that welding of nickel titanium shape embryolase. Then I have decided to draft a review paper based on the information which I have collected. So after that, what I did is that I have decided the headings on which I'm going to write in my review paper. Then, in addition to this, what you have to do when you're writing review paper is that you have to number the literatures, the papers which you have collected in correct order, so that it will be easy for you to cite it when you're writing the content. Otherwise, it will be a big headache as you're working with more than hundreds of literatures. Okay, and it also help you to put the references easy in an easy manner. Otherwise, if you fail to number the papers which you have downloaded initially, then it will be a very difficult task to put the references in your review paper. Okay, so to conclude, what I did is that I have narrowed down my review article to a particular material called nitinol, and I have narrowed down to welding. And in welding also I'm focusing only on laser welding, and I have collected information, that is papers related to laser welding of nickel, titanium, shape and minerals. Then I have collected the key points from all those papers, finalized the headings, and I have started to write the content under each heading. Okay, you have to write the content such a way that there is a continuity among the between the each line, that you have to keep in mind. Okay, so this is what I have done in order to draft a review paper. Okay, so these are all the topics on which I have drafted a review paper. So to you should keep in mind that this abstract, introduction, conclusion, acknowledgement, references should be there in all the review paper. Okay, so basically abstract, you should be knowing what content you have to write in abstract. Abstract gives an overall objective of your review paper. Okay, whereas introduction, in introduction, with respect to the my paper, what I did is that I have discussed the general aspects of that material, that is nickel, titanium, shape and rely. I have discussed the properties in a deep manner. And then I have discussed the application of this material in all the fields, starting from aerospace, robotics, in all the fields, how they are being used. I have discussed in an elaborate manner. Then I have discussed some of the fundamental concepts to welding as well as laser welding, and I have finished the introduction by saying that laser welding is found to be most suitable and for this nickel, titanium, shape mineral welding. Then after that, I have decided to write the paper on these following four important headings, that is metallurgical aspects, mechanical properties, shape memory effect, corrosion properties. So those who are working in welding, you might be knowing that after welding, obviously the properties will be changing. So as a welding engineer, you have to do welding in such a way that the properties are retained to meet out the demands. That is what we have to do. In biomedical application, these are all the important properties, that is corrosion, mechanical properties, shape memory effect, as it is a material specific property, and metallurgical aspects will give an idea about the changes that are happening due to welding at the metallurgical level, so that we can tailor the properties as per the requirement. Okay, so what I did is that, for example, in case of mechanical properties, I have discussed the tensile strength, how laser welding affects the tensile strength, what are the parameters that are having a significant influence on the tensile strength. For example, if you take laser welding, we have welding speed, laser power, shielding gases, then shielding as flow rate, whether we can use filler material. If you are using filler material, what should be the filler material, and which filler material is giving better mechanical properties, which shielding gas is giving better mechanical properties, uh, which combination of parameters is resulting in better mechanical properties. All these informations I have collected from the previous papers, and I have put it in the form of a put it in this heading, mechanical properties. So the reader will be able to understand the effect of individual parameters on the weld, and he'll have a sound knowledge before he is going to start his project work. Okay, so for example, I suggested argon is best suited for joining this material. So he no need to do trial and error method to check whether helium is best or argon is best before starting his research work. He can directly go for argon based upon the previous literatures. Okay, those kind of information we can easily get it from this single paper. The same thing I have applied for all the properties, that is corrosion, metallurgical, corrosion, shape and effect, and then metallurgical aspects. Metallurgical aspects, you can just discuss the same images, EDS, XRD, EBSD, whatever information that is available in the previous paper, but make sure that you get permission from those authors for using their image in your review paper. That is very important. So that you have to do when you're writing a review paper. And finally, coming to the acknowledgement, you have to acknowledge. Suppose if you got funding for doing your project or writing a review paper, if you got any funding, you can just acknowledge the funding agency. And then finally, references. So references, you can just follow any style as per the journal requirement. Okay, if you're trying for a particular journal, you can just go through the author's instructions and you can prepare the reference in their style. That you can just that information you can just get from the journal's homepage. Okay, so this is what I did in my review paper. So after going all these content, at the end, the authors might have knowledge related to the basic problems associated with laser welding of nickel titanium shape and relies, and how this problem could be addressed in the future. That and another information I forgot to tell you. In conclusions, you have to mention what are the future scopes. So you can suggest based upon your understanding. Now to overcome this problem, you can try to approach in this way. Like that, you can suggest in your conclusions. That is also you can do in your conclusion part. So that information, these are the information that will be available from the review paper. Okay. So next we'll see some case studies. It will be easy for you to understand. I'll just go through this one. There is a review paper related to friction stir welding of aluminum to copper. Okay, so they have narrowed down their review article to a specific process called friction stir welding and welding of aluminum to copper. Okay, so in the abstract they have just given the objective of their review paper. Introduction, they have discussed what are the importance of friction, what is friction stir welding, what is the applications of friction stir welding, what is the need to join aluminum to copper, what are their application, all those basic information will be discussed in this introduction part. Okay, and then they have discussed what are the parameters that what are the parameters that are responsible for the property change with respect to friction stir welding. For example, tool material, tool. Okay, for example, they have discussed the effect of different tool morphology and the overall properties, effect of welding speed, effect of rotational speed, and then this offset distance. See here, tool design and geometry, and tool material, what is its effect on aluminum copper joints, which tool material is suitable, what is the reason for the change poor properties when I'm using tool of this material for joining aluminum to copper. All this information they have included in this review paper, and they have discussed, see here they have put a table where they have collected details from 50 papers. They have put the base material, what is the tool material, tool geometry, parameters they have used, and remarks, conclusion, and the corresponding reference number. You can see here they have collected, because there are different aluminum alloys and different copper alloys. For each categories, they have collected the information. They have mentioned the parameters suggested by the authors in each papers. Okay, they have done it for around 50 papers, I guess. You can see here it's going, still going. Okay, this kind of comparison if you make, it will be easy for the reader to understand. There are around 50 papers and corresponding to this friction stir welding of aluminum to copper, and they have mentioned the tool materials, tool geometries, parameters, and their major inference. Okay, these are the things they have drafted in the form of a table. Okay, then they have discussed the effect of tool pin on the weld properties. These are the different tool pins available. Which tool pin is preferred for joining aluminum to copper. Okay, then rotation speed effect, then strategy for dissimilar effects. All this information they have drafted. Then at the end, these are all individual parameter. You can see a number of parameters other than friction stir welding. They have discussed the individual parameter effect on aluminum copper dissimilar joints. Okay, and then what they have did, they put the microstructure, 10 images from the previous works, and they have discussed the metallurgical aspects. I'm not going to discuss the metallurgical aspects and all. I'm not talking any technical things. I'm just telling what are the information we can get and what are the information they have put in the paper. Okay. And then you can see here images. They have taken the permission from the particular authors for using their image. Then finally, these conclusions, major conclusions, conclusion and scope for future work. You can see here conclusion and scope for future work, references. You can see here They have collected around 133 papers, and they have referred around 133 papers for drafting this review paper. Okay, now I'll come to your assignment. That is how, in your case, you're not having 5 to 6 months to draft a review paper of this much quality, but you can just, as per our course conductor suggestions, you can draft a review paper with at least 15, by at least referring to 15 papers. Okay, so you have to you have to draft it in a standard format. I have circulated already to your Google Classroom this sample literature, okay, literature review paper. What you have to keep in mind, you have to just keep in mind the font format, their font size, font style they are following. They are following fully Times New Roman and 12. Okay, and per heading, whether they are using uppercase or lowercase, whether they have bolded it or not, and you should mention some keywords. For example, they have discussed about recycling, recovery of building, integrated solar energy system. What are the keywords that you have to mention? Suppose if you are talking about IC engines, you can just mention some keywords related to IC engines. Okay, and then introduction. See, you can see here they have numbered for each subheadings. Introduction 1, solar thermal system 2. Okay, this one you have to follow strictly. Okay, they have made it an uppercase letter. Okay, and it is bolded. That you have to keep in mind. Another thing is that when you are putting the reference, you have to follow this style. Okay, so here LAM, the author name, et al. Then this is the first reference. Similarly here et al. 2 second references. What are the contents you have identified from the paper has to be cited like this. That you have to follow. Et al. Means there are more than one authors. No need to write all authors' names. You can just write that one author name. Okay. Then other things what you have to keep in mind. See how they are mentioning the figure. See here figure 1, they have made it bold, and this heading no bold. That you have to keep in mind. And similarly for table, they have made it as capital, but this one is not in capital. Okay, that you have to keep in mind, but it is bolded. That you have to follow it in your paper also. And see here, they when you're putting any picture or a table, you have to cite it first. For example, see here, the issues related to PGM instability is given in table 1. Then immediately you have to put table 1. Okay. So my suggestion is that if you write a line that is table 1 shows the parameters used for this process, now immediately put the table. Don't make the reader to search for the table. It should be immediately put. Then only it will be easy for the reader to understand. Okay. These headings and all, it varies as per your topic. Okay, but make sure that you are in writing abstract, introduction, conclusion, acknowledgement, references. In your case, there won't be any acknowledgement as it is not funded by any funding agency. Okay, if you are already working on any project funded by any funding agency, you should surely put the funding agency. Otherwise, no need to put the acknowledgement. And then conclusions, it is mandatory. Then finally references. Okay, so references follow the same style. You can see here, they have followed the same style. Otherwise, I have told you how to get the references from Google Scholar. I'll show you now. Now we'll see how to get the references in an easy manner, because typing, if you are drafting a review paper with 100 references, it is very difficult for you to type all those in this standard format. So what we can do is that you can easily draft it. You can get it from this Google Scholar. You can see here. Suppose if I am collecting papers related to welding of a particular material, so I'm just searching it here, and you'll get these scholarly articles for welding of methanol. Okay, so you can just, if you are citing this paper, that is micro welding of methanol formula, what you can do now, you can just click this one cite. It will give you around 5 different styles. Whichever style you are following, you can use this. Just copy it and put it in your references. Means you should have used this paper as a reference in your review paper. Then only you have to do like this. If you have not used this paper, don't do it. Don't do it in your review paper. Okay. Means what I am doing now, you just search the papers which you have used in your review paper. Then directly you can click this symbol, so that you will get these following styles. So if I am planning to use this APS style, I'm just copying. Okay. Then you can just paste it here. Okay, the same style you can follow it for all the 15 articles. That is up to you. Okay, but make sure that you're following same style. If you're using APS style for all the 15 papers, you can use this APS style. It should be, there should be consistency. Okay, and I think almost all information I have covered. To summarize, you should be understanding the purpose of review paper. Review paper gives the reader information about a specific topic. What are the problems associated in that particular topic? What are the future scopes? Okay. And in addition to this, I have covered how to write your assignment. Okay, so for your assignment you can just use at least 15 papers, and make sure that you are following the standard procedures like this figure number, table number. At least you have to use one figure, at least you have to use one table, one figure, that you have to use for sure. Okay, either you can use it for comparison or something like that. Okay, that you should use it, then only it will be easy for the reader to understand what you're trying to say. Okay, thank you.